Hey everyone, it's Nicole, Buckeye Stitcher. I'm here for a June update video, even though it's not the end of the month. I felt like doing a video this weekend, so I got everything collected. This was my 3-day off in a row weekend, which I always feel like I have this grand plan of all the things that are going to get done and all the things that are going to get stitched, and somehow it never happens. So I found lots of other things to do this weekend. I mowed the grass before it rained yesterday. I did all the laundry. But I didn't make a video. I did get plenty of time to stitch yesterday. I had hours and hours of stitching time in the afternoon, and then a cat appeared. So Wyatt is a good lap kitty. He likes to sit on my lap when I'm stitching, but when he's sitting, you need to be petting and petting and petting. So there's not much stitching going on when Wyatt's sitting on my lap. So I did get a lot of stitching done, so I'll show you some progress, but I didn't get my video made. So today is Monday, June 22nd. I'm here for my June update video. So let's get started. I have a new book. I outgrew my first Flosstube book episodes ago and kind of went with no list and then lists kind of randomly, so I'm back to a schedule, which makes me happy. Okay, first thing on my list is purchases, and I don't really have any stitching purchases. I have lots of other purchases, but I'll put that at the end. I'll do all my stitching stuff first, and then I'll put all my non-stitching stuff, like Catio, at the end. But I was approached by my Bobbin. Lots of you guys have heard about my Bobbin from other floss tubers. I was approached a couple weeks ago by Luda, who I believe owns the company, or at least is the spokesperson for the company, because now they're trying to promote their PDF patterns. So she asked me if I would be interested in sampling some PDFs and then talking about it on my video. I wasn't sure if I wanted to be quite honest, because a lot of the patterns that they have are not my style. There are a lot of full coverage or more, is artsy the right word? Cartoony? I'm not sure, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to just get patterns just to get free patterns if I really wasn't going to use them and evaluate the site. But then I searched Christmas, and we all know Christmas is my favorite. And so I did find some patterns that I definitely would stitch, although once I received the patterns and saw how big they were, I was like, So anyways, the experience was fine. You create an account, so you end up getting emails, which you can unsubscribe from if you don't want them. But the emails that I've gotten so far have not been overly obnoxious as far as frequency, and they always have a sale in them. So I got 2 PDFs. Download process was super easy as soon as I clicked purchase, which I didn't purchase obviously because she was, it was a promotion. I did get these for free. They arrived in my email. But I also got a link to my account on mybobbin.com where they're stored. So if I ended up buying more, all of my purchases would be stored on mybobbin.com to download. Easy to download. My communication was fine. There is quite a bit of a time difference, obviously, between where I am in Ohio and where Luda is in Russia. But I mean, I had a question and I got an answer within 24 hours. So. But the whole point of my Bobbin, what their motto is to offer local prices to the global market. And that's how they're able to offer their goods so inexpensively. So they don't just have patterns. They have kits, they have fabric, they have hoops, they have needlework, they have cross stitch. I believe they have yarn too. So it's not just cross stitch. So their link is below. I don't get any kickback or anything. She just asked me to mention it to give an honest review after I completed my purchase. So after all that, what did I get? Okay, so the first one that I got is called Virgin Cardinal. And see, so this one's still a little bit artsy and cartoony looking, but not, what is the word I'm looking for? Tell me what the word I'm looking for is. This I like. Some of the other styles of cartoony stitching I don't like. But how fabulous is that big fat cardinal, and I love that bow. However, this pattern is pages. The pattern is easy to read. So, you know, it tells you your floss list. It gives you your thread count. It's all in DMC. It tells you the half stitches and the back stitches. It tells you how much thread you need for each color. Now this is in meters because most of the world is in meters except us. So it tells you how much thread you need. It comes as, this one was a black and white pattern, but I think you could opt to print it in color. Maybe that was my other one. But the pattern's black and white. Oh, no, here it is. So the pattern's black and white, but then there's also a copy of the pattern with the back stitching overlapped. I'm just going to show you one page and it won't make a difference, but the back stitching is all in color, separate from the pattern without any of the back stitching in it, which I think is really helpful, especially when you're doing a big involved pattern that's full coverage and has a lot of back stitching. Because look at the flowers. Oh my God, all the back stitching. So, while I would love to say I'm going to stitch this, who knows, I may just own it, and that's okay. The other one I got, I really, really want to stitch because I love this one. This is called Christmas Eve. Okay. How fabulous is that? And actually, it doesn't even have to really be a Christmassy pattern. It could just be up for winter. The only concern I have is that it's recommended to stitch it on a dark fabric because that background isn't stitched. And I don't have a problem stitching on black fabric. I kind of enjoy it. I think it's actually navy that's suggested. I just don't know if I could do a full coverage on dark fabric. So we'll see. But again, all the colors are listed. It's all DMC. They tell you how many meters of each color you need. And the same thing, the pattern's printed in black and white with no back stitch, and then you get the same thing with the back stitch. I love this. I just haven't seen anything that's like it. I would love to say I'm going to start it tomorrow, but as you will soon see, I have plenty of things going. So no plans to start these, but I did enjoy my experience on mybobbin.com, and I'll put the link to their website below. Okay, so the rest of my purchases are non-stitchy related, so I'll put those at the end. Progress. Okay, first one, let's just get it out of the way. Was May wordplay. You know what it looks like. I don't know what the picture is. This is where I am. So I told myself I was going to do 50 stitches a day with this, and I think I did that for like 3 days. So I have the little gardener lady done with her little watering can. That's all I got done. Oh, it would be easy to quit this, but I just don't want to quit. I'm not a quitter. I just want to get it finished because it's not that big of a deal. It's not that far. I mean, there's not that much. It looks a lot lighter on the screen than it is in real life. Maybe if the fabric were actually this color that you're seeing instead of what I'm seeing, it would be more enjoyable. But it is what it is, and it will get finished. But I did at least touch it this past month. So that's 1. 2. Okay, 2. Yeah, 2 for progress. So I pulled this back out. This is a Midnight Ride ornament by Blackberry Lane Designs. And I started this last year, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I was really excited when I kind of went through what projects were left, because I've had a number of finishes this year. I was really excited to get that one out. So this is where I've gotten on that one. There are 7 colors of blue in this. Now, I just said this is supposed to be an ornament. I normally am very good at following directions, but apparently I was so excited to start this one that I didn't read the directions for 32 count. I just measured the stitch count and my fabric and started stitching over 2. The ornament size is over 1. So this is not going to be an ornament. Although Spooneroonie Stitcher told me it could be an ornament for Paul Bunyan's tree, or it could be my tree topper, because this is going to be like 5.5 by 5.5 inches. I can't imagine stitching this over 1. So I'm not going to restart it. I have more of these in the ornament series. I don't know if I'll stitch them over one. We'll see how this one goes if it ever gets finished. But if I had stitched it over one on 32 count, it would be 2.5 by 2.5. But I do love it. This is just, I don't know if this is why Garnet has the orange salvage, but it looks different than I normally see. It's just a plain white linen. I love stitching on it. The needle that I'm using is just gliding through here. My stitches are laying fabulously. I don't know what I'm going to do with it because it's not going to be an ornament, but I love it. So I'm going to carry on with that one. Okay, so speaking of 7 colors of blue. Had no problem with 7 colors of blue. If you remember on my last video, I was having all kinds of problems with whether or not to do 5 different greens on Sue Hillis's 'Twas the Night. And I got tons of comments and advice. So thank you everybody for that. Everything from don't stitch the border to stitch the border as it is, stitch the border with 3 colors, try a different variegated, maybe get a mat that's decorated. But somebody, and I can't remember who it was, oh, it was Darla, KY Stitcher, used the word purist and said that she's a purist, a Sue Hillis purist, and it needs to be stitched the way it's called for. And I am a purist as well. And so I knew what I had to do. So the verdict was all 5 colors, do the border. So that's where I got. As you will see, I'm way more committed to the gold than I am the leaf. Okay, so that's 1 leaf, and the leaf is backstitched. I can't tell yet what I think about it just from one. There's a couple concerns I have. There's one concern I have. The colors that are used in the leaf are also called for in the stitching. But I didn't use all those colors. I changed the greens and the reds because they were kind of pinky and minty. So if you're stitching it the way Sue Hillis called for, the colors that are in the leaf are also, and the berries, are also reflected in this. But since I didn't do that, I'm not really sure how that's going to show up with just all these random colors that aren't anywhere else. Oh, there are 2 concerns, because the second concern, I don't have the picture to show you. I think I left it upstairs. The second concern I have is that right now, this leaf looks really cartoony. And I just said I don't like the really cartoony looking stuff. I'm not done backstitching it yet. There's more backstitch. There's the stem, and that's in a different color than the backstitch around the leaf, of course. And some of it is 2 strands and some of it is 1 strand. And then there's berries that go here. And then there's some tendrils and another little stem. And I changed the gold. So the golds were kind of yellowy. So I used one of them and then changed to 680. So I changed this. I changed all this. So I'm going to keep going because you don't know what it looks like until you get more of it done. But I'm hesitant, but committed. All right. That is my progress. I had a start and a finish because apparently that's what I'm doing this year, starting and finishing. But it's little. It's little and it went fast, and so it kind of doesn't feel like I should count it. But I did start it and finish it this month. I think in like 10 days or something. But it is the Vote badge from Summer House Stitchworks Sister Suffragette. It's that one. She gives you the finishing directions to make it into the button. I'm not really sure how I'm going to have it finished yet. I want it to kind of go along with the other piece that's in this that I framed. So maybe I can figure out a way to kind of have it finished in a circle, but display it with the other piece. Yeah, so that's my start and finish. I started to work on Cats in the Rain, but I am really frustrated. I didn't do anything. I don't even know why I'm showing you. But what I need to do is I'm having issues getting my stitches to lay nice really right here. And I think part of it is because it's grabbing this dark hair color. So I may have to unstitch that, do all of the skin, and then stitch the hair back in. All right, and then I did have another finish. I feel like I'm going off my list. Nope, progress, now on to finishes. So if you remember last video, I was super close to finishing Frightfully Fun, but I ran out of the onyx that came with the kit. And in my last video, I said I needed to go to Keepsakes and get some Gentle Arts onyx. And then when I was watching the video back and editing, I realized it was Weeks Dye Works Honest. I even made a little like update thing right here. Drove to Keepsakes, did what I was supposed to do. There was an open parking spot, had my mask, went in, got what I needed to get. I was super excited because the Gentle Art Onyx was in stock, and since they were closed during quarantine, it's hard to get their flosses. So I got my floss, and I left. And then I came home and I did a bunch of stuff that wasn't involving stitching, and I sat down that night to stitch. And I needed Weeks Dye Works Onyx, not Gentle Art Onyx. So I couldn't have a finish. I was so close to finishing that thing. Susan, who works at the shop, rifled through all of the stuff that she had with her. She didn't have any onyx. Marlene, Stitching by the Lake, sent me some onyx, and I finished my kitty. So that is a finish that is going over to Keepsakes. So I'm going to do Christmas in July again, even though I really am resisting new starts because I really want to get stuff done this year. But I do enjoy the Christmas stitching. So I'm going to do Christmas in July. And these are the patterns that I've picked out so far to start. This is Just Another Button Company and Hands-On Design series from a couple years ago. They did the truck. They did the house, and there's a third one I have, but I can't remember what it is. So I have the fabric, I have the beads to decorate the house, so I'm going to try to start this one. And I say try because there's still 10 days left, 9 days left in the month, and who knows what could change. I also would like to start this Biltmore Christmas. I believe this ends up being an ornament size. Nope, 5x7 on 18 count, 8 of that's included with the kit. So I got this last year when I went to Biltmore with my mom and my sister. Although now that I'm looking at that, it's kind of reminiscent of, not reminiscent, it's kind of the same thing as that Blackberry Lane design. So I don't know, maybe I'll take that out of the rotation. I also would like to start, this is not Christmassy, but this was a freebie from Snowflower Diaries for the Chinese New Year. This is the Year of the Rat. It's a freebie, that's why I'm showing it. You can get it on our website. She doesn't look like a rat to me. She looks like a little mousy, but I still think she's cute. So I'd like to start that before the end of the year. I would also like to start the cardinal from 'Tis the Season that I did last year. I just want to do half of that for my mom for Christmas. So just that part that has the cardinal and the little like edge around it. So, well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Plans. Giveaway. So I'm not going to any retreats this year. StitchCon was canceled. We needed to do it. The other retreat that I was planning to go to was New Jersey Flosstube retreat, and that one had to be canceled as well, which was fine with me because I wasn't sure how I felt about flying to New Jersey in a couple months and then going to a retreat of over 100 people and then flying back and then going to work and endangering the people that I work with. So that's fine with me that I'm not going. However, I have all kinds of stuff that I've been collecting since last year for donation for the freebie table. So since that's not going to happen, you are going to be the benefit of my cast-offs. So this really truly is a cast-off giveaway. This is not anything specific that was picked out. This is stuff that I have already stitched and just want to give it away. It's stuff I've received that I'm not going to stitch. It's things I've received over the past year at retreats or free with purchase things that I'm not going to use and maybe somebody else can benefit from it. So, what happened to it? Did I forget to bring it down here? All right, hold please so I can find it. So here's the bag. So this is full of all the things that I would have taken to my retreats for the freebie table. And I'm not going to go through all of it because it's just kind of a mishmash. But there's some patterns, there's some threads, there's these things that the sweet viewer sent me. And she said if it's something that you can't use, pass it along. So it's just all the things that I would have passed along at a retreat. There's also going to be some StitchCon items. Keepsakes donated some things to me to give away. So I haven't been over to Keepsakes yet to pick those up. So I don't even know what they are. But if you're interested in entering the retreat that wasn't giveaway, please tell me below what your favorite retreat memory was. And if you haven't been to a retreat, let me know which one you were planning on going to, or which one would be your goal retreat. If you could go, just use the word retreat somehow, so that I know that you're entering. So I was really looking forward to the New Jersey Flosstube retreat. I've never been to it. There were going to be people there that I've communicated with that I've never met. So I'm really disappointed, but I completely understand and support the decision to cancel it. Speaking of going to keepsakes, I need to go over there not only to drop off those finishes that I've done since I did my last drop off, but have you seen the new Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine? I haven't seen the magazine, but I've seen shots of the 3-page article that they did about StitchCon 2019, and there is a certain someone who refuses to be on my YouTube videos who made it into the StitchCon article. That's right, Stitchy Bus Brian is in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher Summer Magazine. I'm never going to hear the end of it, so I need to go get my copy because we have to have a copy of that, but I can't even imagine how big his head would have been had that article come out now if StitchCon were still going on this year. Hopefully things will calm down with him before next year. Okay, so that's that. Let's talk about a couple things I received. So I've heard from the people who won my giveaways. I got some very sweet cards from people. I got some really cool stitching pins that I'm using on my Sue Hillis piece, so thank you. You didn't have to do that, but it's always fun to get mail. I also got a card from Lori Chicalone. She is Once Upon a Stitch on Flosstube. She sent me this within days of, I don't even know if it was days. It might have been like 2 days after I did my last video when I was lamenting what to do with that pattern. This arrived, and there's no way she could have known. I don't even know this must have been sent as I was filming the video. And I really contemplated using this for the leaves, but I wasn't sure I would have enough, and I don't know anything about Threadworks to know like how off their dye lots are. It was tempting, but I'm gonna go with the called for. Tempting. And then I sent the Frightfully Fun pattern off to a stitcher who actually owns 3 black kitties. And she sent me a thank you card with this cute little fabric container. It opens up and it makes a nice little orc container. It is from a shop on Etsy called Snickle Fritz Sews. I haven't gone over there yet, but this is a cute little thing with little kitties. And then I also got, so I showed you guys loupaper's postcards. I've bought more since then, but I got this sweet card. It's a loupaper card from Kathleen. So thank you guys for everybody who went over and purchased from her. I appreciate that. I bought more. So this is one of the postcards that I bought with her new release. She did some garden ones, summer garden, spring garden, and fall garden. But I am a tea lover. So this is one of the postcards that I bought. So head over to loupaper on Etsy if you're interested in seeing her artwork. What other purchases do I have? So the rest of my purchases are Catio related. First, I want to tell you about a series of YouTube videos that I've watched lately. They have nothing to do with stitching or crafting of any kind. They're hosted by Emmanuel Acho, who's a former NFL football player. The videos are called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. And the first one he does just him, but the other 3 that he's done so far are conversations he's having with other famous people who are white. So one of the things I was taught in vet school is in order to serve your patients the best, you have to take a good history, which means you have to ask a lot of questions of the owner, and then you have to stop and listen. Because if you're too busy trying to answer the questions that you think are coming, or you're too busy worrying about what's in the next appointment that you've got to address, you're going to miss something important. So stop and listen. You can still ask questions, because when an owner answers one of my questions, it may lead me to ask more questions. But listening is key. And in order to listen well, you have to stop talking. So conversations are important to me. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to purchase everything that I show you. I would appreciate it if you would just go watch his first video and just think. All you have to do is think. You don't have to agree. Just let it make you think. And if you want to watch the rest of his videos, that's great. But it doesn't do anybody any harm to think, right? It's good for our minds to think, and it's good for the world to think. Catio. Okay, Catio purchases. I have a video with an update because we've made a few small changes, a few small additions to the Catio. So I will insert that here. Hey everybody, just here for Catio update tour. So I've added some plants. Little Miss Pearl right there is sitting next to some lemongrass, which is safe for cats to eat. This morning I added a little bit of wheatgrass back there. How do I get my finger in there? Okay, that's wheatgrass right there, which is safe for cats to eat. Hi, baby doc. Wheatgrass and oatgrass are typically the quote-unquote grasses that are used in cat grass, so they're safe to eat. This little pot right there has some rosemary and thyme in it, which the cats don't necessarily eat, but it is safe to eat. So it just adds a little bit more greenery, and I do see the kittens sticking their faces in there from time to time because it smells good. We added a little bar right there because there was a little backup at this spot right here when they were jumping from triangle to triangle. So Brian added this little piece, and of course now they all sit on that one, try to sit on it at the same time. And then we hung the hammock here, which nobody seems brave enough to get into. Billy will sit in it if we put him in it because he's a noodle and he'll do whatever we ask him to, but he won't stay in it. Like, he won't stay in it for very long and he won't get in it. So I added a couple things, like there's a big bucket for them to get into sleep in if they want to, and some mats that have catnip sewn in between the layers. And this little bush that's right here has a bird feeder in it. You can't see it, which is the point, so the birds feel safe in there, but the cats can see them. So this is a popular spot in the morning. It's about 9:30 right now. It's starting to get too hot during the day for them to be out here very long, so by about 10:30 or 11 they come back in until the sun moves over to the other side of the house. But that's where we are. We still have some additions to do. I bought some catnip plants and put it in a hanging basket, so we're going to hang it up there. Brian wants to do something different with that hammock, and we still need to hang our fake ivy on that side to kind of block the side from view. So that's where we are. They still love it. They still spend lots of time out here. Happy kitties. So, some of the things I talked about in that video are things that are safe for cats to eat or at least be around. They may not be eating it. Like I said in my video, the cats aren't eating the rosemary, but it's just a new scent. It's something to, attract some insects, to keep them busy. The lemongrass plant that Pearl was sitting by repels mosquitoes, and they can eat it. They love to eat that one. But the ASPCA website has a giant list of toxic and non-toxic plants. So I'll insert their website here and below. So if you're interested in bringing some plants into the house, that's a good resource for things that are safe for kitties to eat. I will say catnip is listed on the toxic list because it makes cats vomit. So anything that had a negative reaction to cats, anything from vomiting, which cats vomit when they eat cat food, but anything from vomiting to fatal is on the toxic list. So just check that list before you bring some plants in. But I was really interested to see some of the things I never thought about that I could use. So lots of herbs are considered non-toxic. So that's why I added the herbs. And I'm doing I'm trying to grow some cat grass. So as I said in the video, cat grass is mostly oatgrass, wheatgrass, and I think buckwheat grass, but I'm not positive. So anyways, I bought some seeds. I saw a video online of growing it in a big plastic litter box. So it's something that the cats can lay in because that's cooling. So I planted some seeds a couple weeks ago. It's supposed to take 3 days to start sprouting. I followed all the directions, and 2 weeks later I had like 6 little shoots coming up. So I bought some wheatgrass at the grocery store, but I'm also replanting my seeds, and I got new seeds to see what happens. I also found a couple Etsy shops that provided some things that I wanted to put in the Catio, and I was super happy with. So these mats, it's just like a placemat pattern. In fact, this may even be a placemat on the back, but she sews catnip in between it, and then she sends you catnip to kind of like freshen it up, because you can't get more catnip in here. There's no zipper or anything. But I got these from Who Let the Cat Out? And her Etsy site is here, because right now I forget it. So I got a couple of these. They were reasonably priced. The kitties freaked out when they first got a load of them. I also learned that a certain variety of honeysuckle, it can be as attractive to cats as catnip is. So I got some honeysuckle because Gray Baby Billy couldn't care less about catnip. So I got some honeysuckle to see what he would do with it, and it was kind of the same response. He doesn't really care about it. But I did find a company on Etsy, put their name right here, who's got catnip and honeysuckle items. They have a little stick. I'll insert a picture here because I forgot to bring it in. And I'm not sure how I feel about this stick, because as a veterinarian, I usually tell clients for their dogs, if the item you're giving your dog to chew on cannot be bent. If you cannot bend it, it's too hard for their teeth and they'll break their teeth. They typically break the big premolar, the big giant side cheek tooth that does all the chewing. The other teeth do chewing, but that's the big one. So like antlers, I know they last a long time and your dogs love them, but there's no give to them. And so I've seen lots of dogs with broken teeth that have to be extracted because they cracked it on a antler. That white nylabone that doesn't ever dissolve and lasts forever and you get your money worth, you'll be paying me to take your dog's broken tooth out. So the stick that comes, that's the honeysuckle stick, is actually a piece of wood and I can't bend it. And these kitties like to chew. So I keep checking their teeth and I haven't found that anybody has cracked a tooth, but they're also kind of like over it after a couple days, and then you wet it down and they get excited for a couple days and then they're over it. So I don't know how much they're actually chewing on it. But she does make these little candies. They come wrapped like this. And she makes catnip and honeysuckle ones, and they flipped out over it. In fact, Doc flipped out over just the paper. He was rolling and rubbing all over the paper. So, sorry, I thought I could get this out quicker. I left their toys out in the Catio. So these are little crocheted pieces of candy. Look how cute they are. This one has catnip in it. The one that's out there now has honeysuckle in it. And they did go crazy for that one, but they're pretty pungent. So those are my catnip purchases. My Catio purchases. I showed you my postcards. My new favorite TV show is Hometown. It's on HGTV. It's set in Laurel, Mississippi, and it's a couple who is renovating houses in the area that have fallen in, well, I don't want to say disrepair because they're repairing them. They're not just leveling them and starting over, but definitely doing it on a budget. And so they're reusing things in the house for furniture, to make furniture, or in other ways if they can't be saved for the original purpose. But they own a shop in Laurel. So they're basically the new Chip and Joanna, right? Southern Chip and Joanna. So they have a shop called Laurel Mercantile. So of course I had to go over to the website and see if there's anything I could get because I'm not planning on going to Laurel, Mississippi anytime soon. And I bought some candles because I can't say no to candles. So, but these are good summery scents. So I got, what is this one? Saturday Morning, which is blackberries and grapefruit, and Sweet Olive Blossom, which smells really good for summer. And then like 3 days after I got the candles, I got an email with their new summer releases, and there's like a lemonade one, and there's like 3 new ones, and lemonade is definitely one that I want to try. So those are my purchases. I think that's it. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Every time I turn this off and go back and watch it to make my edits and my inserts, I think of things I forgot or realize that I didn't say things the way that I wanted them to come out. So, hope everybody is doing well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.